Yo, people, we're back again, and it's for the match reaction for the game we just watched. So, of course, you've just seen Onana somehow, some way, somehow, pull it out the bag for Man United, and we managed to scumbag the win today. How we managed that, I just do not know, and I can't get my head wrapped around how I've done that today. But I said it. If you watch the final moments of the game, for all you lot that were on the stream during the match and you saw what I said it before and I'll say it again. There is sometimes a turning point for somebody's career at a football club. If you guys remember when David De Gea first came in, I'm sure you guys will all recall the fact that he was so poor. He was hated by a lot of Man United fans. A lot of people were onto David De Gea at the start, saying he wasn't good enough, whether it's friend or foe. People within the media and fans, everyone was writing De Gea off when he first came in. Then you remember that moment, for example, when he saved that penalty against Leighton Baines. There was also the moment where he saved that free kick, that great free kick from Juan Mata that was going right into that top corner. The guy pulled the save out. That was a young David De Gea, skinny David De Gea. And then from then, the rest is history. You know how he's viewed overall in Manchester United right now as being one of our greatest goalkeepers, arguably on ability and shot stopping, our best ever goalkeeper, from someone who was much maligned. Onana, he's just done it there. And you know what? A lot of you guys will be surprised that Onana saved that penalty. A lot of you guys will be. But if you've been putting some of your biases to one side and have genuinely been observing Onana and observing us so far this season and observing, because we've actually conceded a lot of penalties. There was a penalty we conceded versus Bayern Munich in the Champions League. We conceded a penalty to Galatasaray as well. I believe there may have also been another penalty we conceded, but I can't recall that one. And now again today. And every single penalty he's faced this season so far, he's been diving the right way every time. McBurney's penalty was just too good for against Sheffield United, and he was right in the corner, unstoppable. Harry Kane's penalty for Bayern Munich, again, unstoppable. He dove the right way against Mauro Icardi when he missed his and hit the post. Again today, he dives the right way. That's 4 penalties, I believe, for conceded this season, and he's 4 for 4, diving the right way every single time. For me, that tells you all you need to know about how good he is in terms of penalty stopping. And at the end of the day, that's a skill that is needed when it comes to winning trophies. Argentina won a World Cup off of the back of how good Emi Martinez is at saving penalties. So don't look at me and tell me that saving penalties is not something that is very important at the elite level when you want to go for trophies for goalkeepers. It's very important. Of course, we'll have to touch on the game, but I just wanted to give Onana some props because when he's been crap this season, when he's been crap overall, fumbling the ball into the back of his own net, wetting the bed, shitting the bed, no clean sheets for this guy. I've been cooking him. You've been cooking him. So now that he's gone out there and actually saved Man United tonight, I've got to start off the show by giving him his props before we get into the crap that was this Man United performance today. And of course, we want to quickly touch upon that before we look at the overall player ratings as well. But Man United today, we were woeful. You could clearly see that Copenhagen did not respect us, and in particular, like I said during the game, they did not respect our wide players. Before I finish that off, Noble Gamer just says here, not hating or anything, but hyping up a win against Copenhagen. Bro, it's not necessarily about hyping up the win. It's just the fact that we have won a game and we were this close to exiting the Champions League before even concluding all of the group stage games. We are Manchester United. As much as we're falling from grace, we are still big Manchester United, and big Man United cannot be losing games in such a manner. Ever. It's not allowed. We can't lose games in the Champions League and get knocked out in the group stages. It can't be allowed. So of course, if we do end up going through, I've got to give the props. But again, we've gone out there and Copenhagen did not respect us. They allowed us space in the wide areas and just absolutely packed the midfield. At one point when we were circulating the ball in our final third, in our first phase, I realized that, you know what? I took a freeze frame and there were 8 Copenhagen players occupying the central areas and just allowing us to play wide. That tells you all you need to know about how the world of football are currently viewing our wing players. Rashford, Anthony, along with our fullbacks, are being completely disrespected at the moment by opposition players. That's why we are allowed to have freedom of Manchester to play on the wings, and in the central areas, they were absolutely just jam-packed in there. Absolutely jam-packed, not allowing us to play through Amrabat, not allowing us to play through Bruno Fernandes. These are the type of things I'm trying to say when I'm putting it out that Man United currently, we are just not good enough and we're not playing well enough. And I just need people to start getting this into their heads because it is a real problem at the moment. Amrabat I want to talk about before we go deeper into the player ratings. But Amrabat, I haven't seen enough from him so far this season. I don't want to be that guy to get onto the back of newer signings, and I won't fully get onto him yet or jump on his back. But Amrabat has not shown enough. Another game where he's being taken off. The likes of McTominay are being kept on the pitch before you. That kind of tells me all I need to know. It's not good enough from Amrabat. McTominay again today. Wasteful on the ball. Bruno Fernandes ghosting. Rashford wild with every single shot he took. No decisiveness in the final third. Misplacing passes, mishit shots, running into players. Again, Anthony, nothing. Useless the whole game. Did you see Anthony put one cross into the back post for Højlund? One cross to the front post. Switch the play with a pass over to Rashford, for example. Make a decisive run inside and then work a 1-2 and pop it off. Do some edge the box play. A decent shot on target. No, he kicked it over the bar again. Even the one thing the guy had in his locker, which was a shot from outside the box, wrapped into the far corner, he can't do that anymore as well. The guy can't do anything. Why is he even playing? Why is he playing at the moment? For me, that tells you all you need to know about how bad Pellistri is. The fact that Anthony's starting over the guy. Garnacho came on, and we'll talk about it further. Garnacho was very wasteful when he came on. But at the very least, he was able to get into the right positions and the right scenarios to have an opportunity of scoring. Yes, the quality in the end was so poor, and we'll get onto that when we discuss Garnacho. But he was actually capable, at least, of getting into these dangerous areas due to his running and his directness overall. But Anthony provided absolutely nothing. I've backed Anthony so much, and I'm just hoping and praying that somehow he has this turn of form. He needs a similar moment that like Onana's had today to turn his career around. But you could argue he's already had the winning goal versus Barcelona, which should have been the turning point to kickstart the rest of his Man United career. So where's that bit of spark going to come from? Where's it going to come from? Because I don't see where it's going to come from at the moment. I'm worried about it. Ten Hag's got a lot to answer for. As much as we managed to scumbag the win today, there's still a lot more questions which we'll get into. So of course, we're just going to jump straight into the player ratings right here, right now. And Onana, overall, I did see him misplace quite a few passes. And for someone of his caliber who should be up there with the likes of an Edison in terms of his ability to play the ball, it wasn't good enough for Onana in terms of his ball playing ability. It wasn't good enough. At times, he had free reign to put the ball wide into Rashford, for example, or wide into Reguilon, and he would overhit the pass, which is something that I'm not expecting from him, because in pre-season, I was seeing this guy drop the ball on the half volley and slice it perfectly weighted to Rashford, making a run in behind Carvajal versus Real Madrid. So honestly speaking, I need to start getting my head around what exactly is going on with Onana in terms of his passing. However, put that to one side now, because it's not all about the negativity in it. Onana today showed out in the penalty shootout. He absolutely showed out. I put it in the thumbnail. Onana, what's my name? Say my name and don't you forget it. All you man jumping on this guy's back. He's the one player I've seen who has the balls to stand up for his mess. Yes, he was making a lot of blunders. We had the one guy that had the balls to come out after a game, come out in front of his other teammates and accept the fact that he was shit and promise the fans and promise his players that he'll try to do better. All these other guys who have the club constantly ghosting, constantly hiding. In the past, yes, Maguire scored today, but I'm just going to make this comment. I saw Maguire ducking, speaking to the press after games as captain, after dropping a stinker. Every stinker this guy dropped, he came out and had something to say about it. Yes, at the end of the day, it's not good enough, and talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk as well. But hopefully from now moving forward, this is his turning point, and he starts to walk the walk from tonight. And actually show why we spent that money on him, show why Pep feared him in the Champions League final too. I want him to continue showing that level of form. Yes, some of the other shots he had today were pretty normal shots, very easy to save. But when it mattered keep us in the Champions League. And the fact that I'm even saying this, we have to actually fight last minute to actually stay in the Champions League versus Copenhagen, tells you all you need to know, but we did it. Thanks to Onana. And for me, because we're judging him on what he did today as a goalkeeper, and he was absolutely decisive, he's personally going to be my man of the match for the game. Onana's getting a solid, it's got to be an 8 for me, because I'm sorry, you don't save a penalty and not get absolutely mad ratings. You don't keep Manchester United in the Champions League and not get the maddest ratings. That's penalty save bumped him up at least 1 or 2 levels. And I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with me in the chat, but let me know. Next player we're going to have a look at is, of course, Dalot. Dalot today, man said Onana 10, I beg. Nah, I wouldn't go too far, because there were a couple of things that he did wrong, but I can hear why you gave him a 10 though. I can hear it, but me personally, I still try to keep it a little bit level-headed. But an 8 is solid. That's above average, isn't it? So I'm just keeping it a buck. Dalot today, honestly speaking, Dalot was okay. Defensively, he didn't have a lot of work to do. FC Copenhagen are quite poor. It's not like he was facing against a Vinicius Jr. or Kylian Mbappe running at him, or even flipping, who's that guy at Newcastle nowadays? Anthony Gordon. He wasn't even facing an Anthony Gordon. He was facing some dossers, some farmers. Yeah? So defensively, he did his job, didn't have much to do. But going forward now, we were having a lot of space in the wide areas, like I said in the start. They weren't respecting Manchester United, so they gave us a lot of opportunity to play through the wide areas because they wanted to keep the midfield areas compact, stop us playing through Bruno Fernandes. So they kept us playing wide. Cool, no worries. So now it's on the task of Dalot and Anthony, along with Reguilon and Rashford, to give us an attacking output from the wide areas. And did that happen? No, not at all. And Dalot was part of that. Yeah, Dalot it was a right back today, but he's been playing left back, so I hadn't changed the graphic in it. My bad for that. But yeah, Dalot should have helped out in terms of creating more chances. I can only recall one good cross he put in for Højlund, which Højlund narrowly missed. But I would equally say that Anthony isn't exactly the best partner to have for a right back who wants to play attacking. Why? Anthony has no ability to be direct enough to drag away defenders. He's not a threat really, so players don't respect Anthony to the point where they want to double up on him, allowing Dalot the space to overlap or underlap to provide crosses into the box. Anthony is a liability on that side, which I think negates some of the attacking output that Dalot can bring to the team. And against a team like Copenhagen, you want more from your right back and your left back because we had a lot of the ball at times. So, Dalot for me today, can't get any higher than a 6. Dalot wasn't poor, but he wasn't exactly great as well. We have to keep it a buck. Again, move on now to the next player. Keep it up, keep it stacking, keep it going. Next player now, Maguire. Yo, Slabhead, you know. Slabhead. He was actually solid today in terms of there was a couple of shaky moments from him, but he got the decisive goal in the end. I was worried. I was thinking, yo, when it rains, it pours in Manchester. We were this close to a VAR decision negating the goal that we worked for. We were this close. But luckily, we actually, for the first time, got a bit of luck with VAR, and he got his goal, and he's helped us through. Along with Onana, he helped us through with a win today. Defensively, like I said, he was decent. Copenhagen didn't provide much attacking-wise, but he did his job. Now, relax there. Man said Maguire over Van Disney. Relax, we're not doing that still. Not today. Not today. But yeah, Maguire was solid today. I'd give him for the goal and his overall defensive contribution. Wasn't caught out a lot. I'll give him a steady 7. He would have been up there potentially for man of the match, if not for what Onana did today. Onana has to be man of the match. Has to be. He just has to be. So next player we're going to look at now. Varane. Yo, Varane was actually going to be my man of the match. You people in the comment section, tell me if you agree with me today, because Varane was absolutely solid. I was saying it during the game. It's no surprise that our 2 best players have been typically Varane and Casemiro. And what do those 2 have in common? Ex-Real Madrid players who have won probably a dozen plus trophies at Real Madrid. And what do you need to win trophies at the elite level? Consistent application of high-performing standards, which him and Casemiro have had throughout their career in abundance, in spades. Varane slots into the team after an injury, comes straight in like he wasn't even gone. Straight away is our best defender on the pitch, immediately. Every single thing that came anywhere near him, he heads it clear. On the ground, he's steady. I've told you guys and I'll say it again, Varane is better than Lindelof on the ball. Just because Lindelof looks pretty, sexy when he's playing football, doesn't mean he's better than Varane on the ball. Varane carries the ball better than him. He switches play better. He's more decisive, takes fewer touches. Varane just looks like Bambi on ice. So you think he's crap on the ball, but he's very, very solid on the ball. He's not a Goncalo Inacio that we're linked to, or Antonio Fernandez, whatever his name is, at Benfica. He's not that level of ball playing, or Lisandro Martinez, but he is steady in terms of his ball playing ability. Varane, for his standard, I see here you're saying Worthy saying Varane, I would give him a 7.6. The thing about Varane is, for his standards, this was probably just a 7 for Varane. He didn't have too much to do, but everything he had to do, he cleaned up. Varane's an elite defender at the end of the day, so I'm not gonna, if I'm giving Varane a Maguire 7 and a Varane 7 are two different things. Varane can look world class or top class playing just a 7. Maguire, you give him additional props because we know how bad, no offense to him, he's capable of being. So he gets a little boost especially. But that's my rating for him. Next person we're going to have a look at. Reguilon. Reguilon today, he was good at times for Man United before his injury and his illness. Coming back today, Reguilon was not very good today. He wasn't very good today, and I don't want to be like, I don't want to overdo it or anything like that, but Reguilon was not the best today, and that's simply a fact. He wasn't the best today. Maybe there's still a bit of a hangover from the illness and all that, but he wasn't the best today, Reguilon. So for me, he can only get 5. I saw him being dispossessed at times. He looked defensively weak. Going forward, only a couple of times. He didn't make many overlapping or underlapping runs during the game, so he didn't actually provide an outlet. I was saying before the game that I was really happy to see Reguilon back because Rashford has been poor. There we go, Antonio Silva, there we go. Rashford has been poor this season. I was hoping that Reguilon's ability to progress forward with overlaps and underlaps would help Rashford. He's one of our main outlets in terms of he's actually quite capable of scoring a goal. He's a GA merchant, we all know this, PMP. So I was hoping that Reguilon would give him the opportunity to score more goals today because he drew defenders away. But Reguilon probably only made a forward run really 2 or 3 times I can recall him really getting deep into the byline of the opposition. Maybe it's his illness, so he wasn't really at the fitness level because he did get subbed off at the 60th minute. Maybe his fitness levels didn't allow him to be able to play for an extended period of time. So I'll give him that benefit of the doubt. But hopefully, when he's fully back to match fitness, can play 90 minutes, has more energy in him, he can start providing the runs needed to help Rashford out in that position because Rashford needs a lot of help right now. Rashford is drowning. He's currently drowning. You look at the goal he scored for England, but you look at the way he's playing today, it's like night and day. He's able to look silky, cut inside versus Italy, and just slap it into the corner. For Man United, he looks dusty. Taking heavy touches when he's about to go clean through 1v1 with the keeper. Getting a 5 for me. No more than that for Reguilon. Hopefully he's better against Man City because we're going to need him. And I just hope and pray that we're not seeing the likes of Phil Foden just cutting him open because he's not the best defensively. Amrabat today, you know what? He can keep that 5 out of 10. Amrabat, I don't want to be that guy to run agenda. Don't want to be that guy to run game on people. But Amrabat, another game where the game kind of just passes him by and he looks meh. He looks meh again today. Looks a bit stiff. Couple of heavy touches. Doesn't seem to have a great passing range. And when I say passing range, some people might think that, am I expecting every player to be like Paul Scholes? No way, Jose. Paul Scholes, Xabi Alonso, Paul Pogba's, that kind of a passing range is a dime a dozen. But what I do expect from my CDM, my holding midfielder, is to constantly show for the ball, be press resistant, and also when you do get an opportunity on the ball, be able to fire the ball in between the lines to progress the attack forward. Get into the half spaces and be able to play those passes into the Antonys, the Bruno Fernandes who's advanced, McTominay who's advanced. Progress the ball forward consistently. Show for the ball, all these things. Even defensively as well. Even defensively, I don't think Amrabat was the best in terms of, he actually looked slow at times. I thought Amrabat was quite quick. I think, you know what it is, yeah, that Mbappe clip, yeah, has made people think that this guy is actually fast, but he's not that fast. At times when I saw him tracking back, he looked like he was towing a caravan. Man looked lagging behind. I thought, when I say, like, for example, wherever you're saying that you thought he was solid, I believe that he was okay, but he's not at the level. 5 out of 10, you have to keep that in mind, that 5 out of 10 is an alright performance. He's an average performance. 5 out of 10, he was average today. And that's not the best, but you have to keep in mind also, he was subbed off within about, 65 minutes. How can I give a man more than a 5 out of 10 when I've had all these negative points to his game today, and also he was subbed off early. For Eriksen, who we all know isn't the best and isn't currently in form. It's not as if Eriksen has been great this season, is coming back from injury, so was always going to come on after 60 minutes. Amrabat wasn't the best. So I'm just keeping it a buck. He's a 5 out of 10 today, and it is what it is. Hopefully he improves going forward, and I want to see more from him. He's got great stamina, I agree with you, yes, but at the end of the day, the modern game, especially in certain positions, you need a decent level of ability to cover ground quite quickly as well. I'm just hoping to see a change in this midfield soon, because we're absolutely dying in midfield right now. Next person we're going to talk about. Move on swiftly. McTominay. You know what, yeah? McTominay today, he can hold that 5 as well. I've been saying it before, and I'll say it again. Manchester United and Ten Hag are having this issue with misprofiling McTominay, and just overall, this player, I believe, is wasted at Man United. I think that this guy genuinely needs to leave Manchester United. If he left this club, I think he could do something good at another club, genuinely, in a more advanced area, shadow striker role, support striker role, maybe even in a front two. Maybe even in a front two. He is actually quite deadly in attacking areas. But he is now starting in a midfield 3, alongside Bruno and Amrabat. He has shown since the days of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that in a midfield 3, he is fully incapable of doing the basics that a midfielder at a top level should be able to do. Controlling the game, covering ground, playing passes, showing for the ball, transitioning the ball forward, maybe even creating goals and scoring some as well. All these sorts of basic fundamentals that midfielders should be able to do, he can't do it to a consistently high level. Yet now, because he scored a few goals from midfield, he's currently starting for Man United in midfield, just because he scored some goals. Make it make sense. And yes, you could argue that the issue I'm having with him is, where's the balance between meritocracy and actually playing the best profile of players in the right areas? Because if we're talking about pure meritocracy, you could argue, McTominay scored a few goals for Man United. He's probably kept Ten Hag in a job to some extent. He should be playing. But then we also have to think about the past. He played on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for 3 years, and he showed that he is not good in midfield. He was part of that dynamic duo, Batman and Robin, Fred and McTominay, McFred. He was part of that duo. He was part of that. And we saw time and time again, United fans, that he's not good in midfield. Because he scored some goals now, but was meant to get sold in the summer, he's playing games for us in midfield again. If you watched that game, did you not see this guy hiding again? He was hiding. All the way back, the whole time, he was just hiding. Amrabat would get the ball, he'd turn, half turn, he'd look forward, McTominay's behind 2 players. Behind 2 guys. And you wonder why we couldn't move the ball from back to front. And the fact that Bruno was dropping back from cam to centre back at times to help bring the ball forward. Because McTominay's hiding. He wasn't the worst today, he wasn't absolutely trash today, but in terms of doing what a midfielder should be doing, he was woeful at times. A couple of heavy touches, it's just not good enough. And I don't think people should be playing in the team just because they're scoring a couple of goals. Because when the goals dry up, you get matches like this from him. So you either bring him on off the bench, or you don't bring him on at all. Simple. Next person we're looking at. Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes today was trash. Bruno today was trash. And I've always said I really, really like Bruno Fernandes. I really like the player. At times, absolutely phenomenal. In every single match, even if he's playing poorly, you'll see him make out the odd, very good pass. You could see, for example, when he played that outside foot pass to Rashford on the counter-attack, you can see how good that was. His technique is still of a high level, Bruno Fernandes. His technique is still of a very high level, Bruno, so you can always tell that he's going to do something great. The issue I have with him is right now, his consistency is really, really, really bad. He makes the wrong decisions 9 times out of 10 these days. Constantly overhitting or underhitting passes. He's actually not showing for the ball as much as he normally is used to. His shots are wayward. His crosses are poor. Bunch of poor set pieces as well. Even the goal we end up scoring, it came from a poor set piece from Bruno, and it gets recycled to Eriksen, who puts a lovely ball into Maguire. Then Maguire ends up scoring a goal. This is what I'm talking about. Bruno's been so bad since around about the Galatasaray game that we lost. He has been really bad. Before that game, people were already calling for Rashford and Bruno to be dropped. I was saying that, you know what, I would drop Rashford but keep Bruno in the starting lineup. But right now, I'd say Bruno, he is as much of a problem. Mount is the £60 million signing from Ten Hag. Mount probably deserves a chance to play in that number 10 position right now. Or Eriksen. Only thing I'd say is, when do we even get a chance to see that? Because we've got Man City on the weekend and there's absolutely no chance Ten Hag is playing them over Bruno, his captain, on the weekend. So Bruno today can get no higher from me than I won't lie to you, if I'm rating what I saw from Amrabat today as a 5, I'm giving Bruno a 4 today still, I can't lie. He was not good at all and he did not provide anything. That the way he's normally judged is his ability to actually create chances for the team and help us move the ball forward, help us provide something for Højlund. Højlund again, zero shots on target today. Whose fault is that? You could argue maybe he could do a bit better in certain scenarios, but where's his number 10 creating him chances? Where is it? His number 10 isn't creating him chances. Rashford, where was his shot on target today? I mean, I know Rashford fumbled an opportunity in front of goal, but it's not as if he had an abundance of chances coming in versus a poor side. That's Bruno's department. In the past, you would have seen him putting ball after ball after ball after ball into the box. Højlund should have been feasting. I was thinking that Højlund would come in and with Bruno behind him, he'd be absolutely feasting every single game. But he's not. So we're just going to move it on to the next player now. Marcus Rashford today again another game from Rashford. There's a point at the start of the match in the first half, I see him being tripled up and the guy still tries to take all of them on. He sort of gets past Elyounoussi, cool. But then behind Elyounoussi, there's a wall of 2 other players. He tries to knock the ball forward and run past them. I'm thinking to myself, yo, what are you actually doing in this scenario? Are you stupid or something? Do you genuinely expect to be able to get past 3 players under pressure when there was the pass inside and he just falls on his face thinking he's going to draw a foul? No foul for you, bro. He has a 1v1 opportunity. The ball's bouncing off him and he ends up kicking the ball out of touch. I see him try to take a volley on the edge of the box, balloons it into the outside of the theatre, outside of Old Trafford, literally kicks the ball out of the stadium. Again, I see an opportunity to pass the ball to Dalot on the overlap. Kicks the ball straight at the defender, even though there's 8 people in the box. Why are you shooting? These are the type of things I'm trying to talk about with Rashford. And Rashford has been really poor recently. And I'm just hoping and praying that somehow he finds a decent bit of form, because I was hoping that after what I saw from him versus England, that there'd be a good improvement today. But again, he's been very poor today. So it looks as if that England form is not going to be able to translate. So Rashford today, if Bruno's getting a 4, I'll give this guy a 4 as well. He can't get any higher than that too. It'd be a 4 for Rashford as well. Next person I'm going to have a look at now is Højlund. Højlund today was starved. Højlund, 1 second guys. Lift it up. Lift it up. Okay. Yeah, Højlund again today was absolutely starving. The guy was starving. He didn't have a shot on target the entirety of the game. I don't understand how we've brought a guy in with so much potential, so much ability, strong, fast, tall, all these attributes he has. Scoring goals every time he goes to play for Denmark. Whenever you give him an opportunity, he looks dangerous in front of the box, but he never gets anything. Again, Højlund with 0 shots. Nothing created for the guy. And to be honest, what I would say is in some of his physical battles versus the centre-back for Copenhagen, I do actually think he was out-muscled a lot. The centre-back was actually a big guy. I saw him, big guy, controlled him quite a lot during the game. So even in terms of his hold-up play, he was out-muscled and beat and out-fought quite a bit by that centre-back who did a pretty good job on him. But then moving away from that, he still made it a contest. He still did bags of running as he always does, tried his best to link play, but the ball was barely being played centrally, so he didn't even have a lot of chance, a lot of touches on the ball. I bet if you look at the stats now, I don't have the stats in front of me, but Højlund did not get a lot of touches. I barely saw him being able to get on the ball, link play, spin, and run in behind. Then even if you put the link play aspect of centre forward play to one side. He didn't even have shots on goal. He didn't get anything created for him, not one header, nothing. So Højlund, as much as I'm going to end up having to give him like a 5 out of 10 for his performance, just average, I can't even attribute it to him being a poor player, a poor performer. He's just in a team that the strikers are completely starved of oxygen. The guy is dying out there, I'm telling you. He's dying out there. If Arsenal, I don't want to say this, if Arsenal had Højlund, do you know how much Højlund would be eating right now? Or if Tottenham had Højlund, I'm telling you, the way people would be talking about Højlund right now, if Arsenal, Tottenham had him, instead of Man United, it'd be different conversations. And it's sad to say it. Anthony, this one, yeah? Yo, if I'm giving Rashford and Bruno a 4 I gave them, Anthony, what did he do this game? Shot the ball over the bar, tried to cut in a couple times, did niche, didn't really beat his man, didn't really find any balls in behind, no crosses at all, no chance creation, no crosses to the back post. I was hoping that with Højlund being in the team now, we see something similar to his link-up play with Sebastian Haller. I remember with Sebastian Haller, he in the Champions League versus Dortmund, a lot of balls lofted to the back post, high towards the back post, and Haller with a little flick on. He doesn't even do that. Created absolutely nothing. Got subbed off after about 60 to 70 minutes. One shot on target that he kicked over. What can I even say? If I'm giving Rashford a 4 and Bruno a 4 as well, probably give this guy a 3, you know. I can't even lie. And this is me saying I like Anthony as well. I like Anthony, but really and truly, I'm just trying to think. Should I give him a 4 because he worked hard defensively? Am I being too harsh? Tell me in the comment section, but I'm genuinely saying I can't give this guy higher than a 3 for today. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but nah, man. This guy, some would argue should be playing for PFP. Some would argue should be playing for Prison FC. I'm telling you, some of these performances would lock him in United jail right now. So yeah. Next person we're going to look at. Martial. I mean, he came on, had nothing to do really, barely got a touch on the ball. He just basically came on to see out the game. So I'll just give him a 5. There's not really much to talk about. He's being used the way I think he should be used currently as a rotational option. His legs are gone. His hamstrings are made of breadsticks, so the guy isn't exactly going to be starting games for Man United, except for maybe the League Cup and FA Cup. Came on. Didn't really get much of a touch of the ball, like I said, so not really going to talk too much about Martial today. Garnacho, this is someone that, you know what, normally when someone comes off the bench, it's either going to be a super sub cameo or they get like a 5 for not doing too much. But Garnacho actually had a big impact when he came on. But I'd actually put it as overall, he needed to do a lot more when he came on this game. He had 2 1v1 chances with the keeper. A poor Copenhagen goalkeeper. Let's be serious. None of you lot in the chat knew who this goalkeeper was before the game. You didn't know him. So let's not even lie about it. No one knew who this guy was. Yet, for some reason, 1v1 twice, he fumbled it. And for 2 different reasons. One was poor finishing. 1v1 with the keeper, you kick it straight at him. He opened up his body. I was thinking, cool, find the corner. I remember that goal he scored versus, I believe it was West Ham or Fulham. No, West Ham in the FA Cup last season when he opened up his body and just whipped it into the far corner. I thought we were going to do the same thing here. But instead, what does he do? He just kicks it straight at the goalkeeper. Cool. The other opportunity. 1v1 with the keeper, ball from Bruno around the corner. Runs forward with the ball. The ball's just bouncing off his knees. Then the ball goes out of touch. I'm thinking to myself, you're a pro footballer, yeah? You're running with the ball and the ball's bouncing off your kneecaps. Are you good? So then that's 2 opportunities there, and a lot of other times as well, running into players, misplacing passes. He actually had a pretty poor cameo, I can't lie. Yes, I would commend him for getting into the right spaces and the willingness to run all these things, but he made a lot of dire mistakes. And again, if not for the Onana save, Garnacho could have looked at himself as being part of the reason why we didn't end up scumbagging a result today, because he should have put this game to bed. Twice he could have put the game to bed, and he did not do it. And that could have been the difference between us winning or losing and being out of the Champions League this season. For Garnacho today, I can't lie, because of the chances he missed and the fact that he actually was contributing to losing the ball on several occasions, It's got to be a 4 for me. We could have easily been looking at Europa League or Conference League play today. Europa League. Do you guys want to hear that anthem again? Europa League settings. Man United are actually a Europa League team. You see, I actually know the anthem now. In the past, I didn't know the anthem, but now I know it. Simple. Next player now we're looking at. Lindelof. Came on, he actually made a couple of crucial blocks and interceptions. I remember one where they cut the ball back and he sort of nipped in and got the ball. He was decent overall. Didn't really contribute much because he wasn't on for too long. However, he replaced Reguilon, didn't provide any attacking output, which we already knew he wasn't gonna. Why he's been playing at left back instead of right back, only Ten Hag knows the answer to that question. Arsenal yet to figure that one out. Why you would put a guy who's a centre back, is right-footed as well, on the left-hand side, make him invert into midfield, make him rotate with the forward players as a left back. Don't explain to me why he's doing that over Dalot, who's more technically gifted. Ten Hag has his own way of doing things, whatever, but he was a 5 out of 10, did his job as a cameo, was solid, it's just decent. Looking at the last player, Eriksen. Eriksen, for me, will actually get a 6. He'll get a solid 6 from me. He came into the game and he actually benefited us greatly. Eriksen came into this match and he genuinely helped us out. He got the assist for the Maguire goal, which ended up being the winning goal. He actually, I remember, contributed defensively to stopping a couple of their last-ditch efforts they had in our box. He actually came across uncovered, which I have to commend him on because Eriksen is known for being useless off the ball. I've said it myself. When we have the ball, we have 11 players. When we don't have the ball and Eriksen's on the pitch, we have 10 men because he's useless off the ball. Since he helped out defensively and contributed, I have to give him his props because when he doesn't do it, I put him down for it. So you have to give him his props for that. The assist was very good. Well taken cross, well taken header from Maguire. So I'll give him his props there. Tried to control the game, move the ball forward quite swiftly. He actually had a good cameo. So I'll give him, actually, you know what? I'll give him a 7 for the assist as well and some of his contribution. He's actually good coming on today. And it was actually a good sub from Ten Hag to put him on when he did. He didn't waste time. So obviously, if we just go through who my man of the match was, I think it's pretty much obvious now. Man of the match was Onana, who I did actually give a rating initially of 8 out of 10. Onana was very good today. I believe this kickstarts his career the same way the penalty save against Leighton Baines for David De Gea and the save from Juan Mata's free kick did way back when, over 10 years ago for David De Gea. I believe this is the moment that kickstarts his career. The confidence that's going to be instilled in this man after this, I think is going to be crazy. And he needs that if he wants to get any sort of United career rolling. So this has been a great end to the match for Onana's sake. If there's any way to, because I believe that Man United aren't really going to get anywhere in the Champions League. So if we can have one great thing coming out of this, is the fact that we still have a chance of being in the next stages. And also, we potentially have our goalkeeper kickstarting his career. Let's hope he doesn't flop and let's get behind him. Man of the match today, absolutely saved our bacon, saved Ten Hag's bacon, because imagine the media outroar. Imagine the way he'd be trending. Ten Hag out everywhere. The newspapers, Twitter. Your mom would be saying Ten Hag out. Everyone would be Ten Hag out. If we had gone out today in the Champions League versus these scrubs who have never beaten an English opposition in their history. So keep that in mind and talk to me nicely. I said it in the thumbnail. Onana, what's my name? Don't you forget that name. I think he's going to kickstart that career and he'll be a great player for us in the end. That's been my match reaction. And for the manager, if I was to rate Erik Ten Hag's performance today, I'd bump his overall rating up to actually being a 6 out of 10. I was going to give him as low as being like a 4 or 5. I'll give it a 6 because his subs actually impacted the game overall. Eriksen made a big impact in the game. Garnacho fumbled, but he did make an impact in the game as well. So that's been my match rating for today. Get this up to 115 at least, or 120. Get those subs up. I've actually got a new alert. The alert should have been showing for these subs coming up today, but for some reason it didn't show. I'm gonna have to sort that shit out. But I got to run because I need to sort some technical glitches out. But in a bit, you lot, love.